And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Folks at the Essen Game Fair, HABA, who's known for making all sorts of children's games, announced that they were putting out 3 family-style games. One of these is Adventureland. Now this is the German box. The English box is going to look different. But this is a game by Wolfgang Kramer and Michael Kiesling, who are like the dream team of Euro game designers. They really have put out some amazing games over the years, and so I was really anxious to see this one. I like the theme of adventuring, and I was really curious to see what HABA would do, since all their games are simple games for kids. What would they do in the family game? Well, here it is. You're going to choose when you play this game what adventure you're going to play, the Fellowship, the Magnificent, or Escape to the Cities. The game plays mostly the same. There's a few minor rules changes for number 2, but it's the scoring that's the difference. Now the way this game works is you'll notice in the top left-hand corner that players are going to be placing their dudes in these rows and columns. So they'll start in rows 1 through 5 and in columns A through E. The board is basically a giant grid of 100 spaces. Now on a player's turn, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to draw 2 cards from this deck. And in each card they're going to look at the space and put whatever it is there. So this is a companion, so I'll put him in B5. So there's a companion here. And then the next spot is gold. I'll put that in C8. So I'd put some gold here in C8. However, whenever you put gold, the water sprite appears. Ah, ha, 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 ha. There are other things that you can draw. For example, you might draw a fog monster on G6. So when I draw a fog monster, I'll place that fog monster in that spot. There's a couple things. This shows the strength of the fog monster and the victory points the fog monster is worth. Whenever you draw a fog monster, though, that does not count as one of your 2 draws. You'll draw another card to replace that. This says C3, and that's a sword token. I have several sword tokens. I draw a random one and place it here. Sometimes you'll put out an herb. So, again, those are also random, and you'll place those out. Now, after you're done placing, you can move either one person as far as you want. So I could go and go here. Or you can move 2 people 1 space each. If you land on a tile, so let's say I land on this tile, you'll get that tile. You'll look at it. This shows a sword. Put it face down in front of me. If maybe this character lands here on the herb, I look at the herb, and the herb is worth 3. I put that face down in front of me. If you land where there's a companion, from now on, whenever you move, that companion will go with you. And so it's possible to have multiple companions and go in a group. If you move to where there's a fog monster, you're going to fight that fog monster. The first thing you'll do is determine how many swords you're going to use. Each sword token that you spend, and it's gone, and you can spend up to 3 of them, will let you roll a dice. You will roll the dice. Say I use 2 swords. Add that to the number of guys you have. So 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 7 is 11. That's not enough to beat him. However, once you're done rolling, you can use gold to either re-roll dice or to add 1 to your total, or you can spend herbs to add the number on the herb to your total. There's also some swords in the game. Each sword shows a picture of a sword, but some swords also come with extra numbers that do damage when you use them. If you defeat the fog monster, you take it. In front of you, get the points. If you don't defeat it, all the guys you attacked it with are dead. Now, this water sprite here, you can never go to where they are, but you also have to be careful, because if, let's say you have somebody on a river, and the water sprite, a new gold tile is put down, the water sprite moves there. If they move through your guys, they are killed. So the river can be a very dangerous place. Players are going to be moving around, and they can move to any space that they want, but they can only ever move down, and they can only ever move left, so eventually you're going to be stuck. If you go to 10K, obviously you can't go anymore. And if you're ever in a spot, and then that spot's card is drawn, so let's say I have moved someone to C7 for whatever reason, a companion shows up there, boom, I got it. So you can put your people on spaces in anticipation that something might appear there. Now, you're not going to be using all the sword tiles in each game and all the companions. You take out a certain number of them based on the number of players, and when all the ones that you have out are placed on the board, then the final round, each player gets one last turn, and then that's the end of the game. Points are then scored. Now, the points, like I said, are scored differently. The Fellowship is more of a give me stuff now. Every time you get gold in that one, you get 2 points. Whenever you get a companion, you get 1 point for the first companion, 2 for the second, 3 for the third, and then you get points for killing fog monsters. So essentially you're just going around and trying to get victory points. The Magnificent has a rules change which allows you, normally when you move as far as you want, you can jump over stuff except fog monsters. But you can never go in the spot where someone else is. But in the Magnificent, you can move groups together and form large groups. In fact, your largest group is going to score you points at the end of the game equal to 3 times its value. You also get 2 points for each gold, and herbs and swords will give you points that are listed on them are worth points, so you might want to keep those for the end of the game. Escape to the Cities, that's the third one, is kind of like an area control game. At the end of the game, each city is counted, and whoever has the most people in that city is going to get points equal to how big the city is. So this city down here is worth 12 because it's a big city. Then there's a 6, a 5, a 4, and a 3 city. The gold still gives you victory points, and whoever has the most gold gets 7 points, and no one gets points for herbs or sword tiles. However, you'll lose points for each of your ventures that's not in a city at the end of the game. Anyhow, whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. Guys, this game was really fun for me. I was really impressed with it because the scoring is so different in the 3 different scenarios. They really have a different feel tremendously. One, you're trying to do area control. One is going around and trying to get this big group that moves around and fights monsters and stuff and just is bigger than the other groups. And then the first one's the best one for kids. I played this with my kids, and one of them did not like it because she said it was confusing on what to do next. She had a harder time with the strategy, but the other ones loved it because, and I really like this. I really love the whole, you gotta be careful how far you move. Do you move just a little bit and get stuff, or do you go and grab things when you see them? Of course you want swords and herbs so that you can fight the monsters. But at the same time, you're missing out on the gold. Gold is great, but wow, it's dangerous because that water sprite can hit you at any time. Well, maybe not if you can remember what tiles have been drawn. Getting companions is good because it helps you fight the monsters, and in some of the games, it's worth points. But there's just, I think that what I like best about it is just the whole grid system. There's 100 grid, and stuff starts appearing boop, 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 randomly around the board, and you move. And so you have to sit there and go, okay, do I run and grab that? Or do I move 2 guys, 1? Do I try to get my guys on the board as quickly as I can so that when stuff appears, we get it? Or do I move over to these spots and get into a better scoring position? There's like 3 companions in a row. Maybe I should go over there and I can quick grab them. It's a simple game. HABA has not made some massive strategy game here, but it's a simple game that has a lot of fun replayability to it. This is one of my favorite family games of the year easily. The theme is even kind of cool. You're going out fighting fog monsters. No one likes fog monsters, so take these guys out. You go get people to join you. You're like, hey, companions are joining your heroes. You're moving around. You get to roll dice. And yeah, there's some randomness in the dice rolling, but you can mitigate that. You can go into a battle and say, okay, I know what I'm probably going to roll, like maybe a 7 on 2 dice or so, but I have herbs and gold to back me up in case I mess up. Sometimes you do take the gamble. Well, the only way I'm going to get this is with a good roll. But I haven't seen yet where good die rolling wins you the game. No, it's clever movement around. There's randomness in where the stuff appears. There's randomness in the die rolls, but there's enough strategy to counteract that and make this a really good, solid game. I was completely floored by this. I expected the game to be fun, but it was way more fun than I thought. Now, to be fair, I am very taken by grids. I don't know what it is. I just think the idea of grids and things appearing on a grid is fun. I like the idea of having, going in a battle and using some stuff and then adding more. And I thought the theme was entertaining as you just go around with your group of people. And also, I just loved how smooth and quickly it played. And also with the 3 different counts of players, 2, 3, and 4. I wouldn't have minded had there been like a different map on the back, so you're never sure it was going to show up, but that would also probably require a different deck of cards. Never mind, scratch that. Good artwork, simple and easy to teach people, but I think all for strategy and 3 basically games in the box. Yeah, definitely a recommendation from me. Dice Tower Judgment into my collection.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!